So, one of the key phrases that we use in Global Minds United is learn from me, because we both believe that storytelling is healing. Storytelling creates compassion and empathy when you're able to actively listen to what someone is saying. So, in terms of a learn from me topic, what would be something you would say, learn from me what?
I would say learn from me, trust. I think as the founder and CEO of Global Minds United, it's really important that people trust me and trust the process and trust Global Minds United because we're discussing topics that are so personal. And there's so much weight attached to those topics. Um, so I think that for me as an individual to be able to share with people that I have gone through a process that they are going to go through is really important because it shows that I am putting myself in a position where I'm vulnerable, I'm being honest with myself, and that this is a process. No one becomes an expert in this. It's really a lifelong process where you have to keep checking yourself. So, an example of a story is when I put together the first training for Global Minds United, it was implicit bias, diversity, and global education. And the first module of that is having individuals take the implicit bias test, the IAT test through Project Implicit at Harvard. And so I said, before I can ask anybody else to take this test, I have to sit down and take it myself. You look at all of these tests, and I say to people, the one that you look at and you say, I don't want to take that one, that's the one you should take. Because somewhere you're uncomfortable taking that. There's something inside of you that's saying, I'm not sure what my answer is going to be. And we all want to say, I'm not biased, but I will say this, we all have bias and it's natural. And so I sat down in front of my computer and I picked 3 tests and I went through them and I got my result and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It said that I had a bias towards women staying home with the children and being homemakers and men going out and working in the world and making the money. And it really made me think about how I raised my 3 daughters because I had moments where one of my daughters had said, I'd like to be a surgeon. And when I thought about it, my remark to her was, well, who's going to take care of the kids? Are you going to have kids? And she said, well, maybe I don't want children. And so I kind of look back at that and I say, oh, I do see that. I see some generational patterns. My mom became a lawyer, but when my brother and I were younger, she stayed home with us. So she waited until we were older. So I think that's kind of where I developed this bias. So it's showing to people to trust yourself. And I think that's one of my learn from me moments is to first start out trusting yourself to be honest with yourself, trusting yourself to be compassionate and non-judgmental and giving yourself grace. Because I think a lot of times when people hear about taking the implicit bias test, they feel like they're going to be judged or they feel like they're going to feel guilty or there's going to be shame. And so I would just like people to learn from me not to feel that way